welcome to Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast. A bonus episode, actually. Right? We're not even it's not official number.
No number. No number. This is going out to
Wow.
everybody. This is going out to the masses. It's brand spanking new for tail end
Wow.
of 2023. We just recorded episode 224, which is patron exclusive. And hey, speaking of patrons, that's why you see this third mug on the screen today. Chris A.K.A Scott. The legend.
Finally here.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The fleecing.
So this is going
After
out
all this time.
The fleecing has continued to this day. Oh man. Do you all you remember that story, right? Dave, I know you do.
That's what introduced us to you. That's what introduced you. Got introduced. I don't know if Gary will listen first or if you both listened and got Gary on, but all I know is that you were listening and we were having one of the first, because we were very consistent, and then we had one of these breaks, and I think it was a Brandon break. I think he just needed some time because he was dealing with some stuff, and we hadn't recorded a show for like a month and a half or so. And Chris, because Dave was the communication person, everything communication wise went through Dave, whether it be Gmail, which is still kind of the case, or Messenger or whatever. And Chris reaches out to Dave.
So yeah, that's back when you guys were that's back when you guys were doing those tiers. Like you could pick like 2 movies for like $12 or $20 or whatever it was. So I did that several times, and you all did it, at least the first 2 times. And then I did it a 3rd month, and then like a 4th month, and those 3rd and 4th ones never got recorded, and you all were like on a small break. And it was late one Friday night. I was like at least 12 drinks in at that point. It was like midnight. It was like midnight. I was like, these motherfuckers are just stealing my money. What the fuck what are they doing? So I got on the Patreon app, and I was like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but all I remember is they're fleecing everybody out of their money, blah, 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 blah. And then the next morning when I woke up, my immediate thought was like, what the fuck did you just do? So I got on the I got on the Patreon app, and Dave had already saw it and commented on it. Said something like, oh man, as if I wasn't feeling bad enough already. Now I got to wake up and see this. And I felt horrible after I did that.
Oh, and we didn't let you live it down either. But we felt bad too, because we were like, we're trying. And again, you're just speaking the minds of what probably a lot of our patrons are thinking right now, actually.
Yeah.
But the fleecing continues. That might be the title of the new movie, The Fleecing.
The Fleecing?
Why not? Let's fleece. I don't even remember what happened at that time, to be honest with you. I remember something happened, but I don't know if we were backed up or you're trying to keep up with everybody's stuff.
I know you guys were having a lot of trouble keeping up with all of the requests that people were submitting. Like
we sure
keeping
were.
up with reviewing all the movies and that stuff.
It's when we first went, and I think that's exactly it. We just we're like, oh wow, what did we do? Because it essentially structured the whole show for us like 6 months in advance. And we're like, some people be like, that's great. But we were like, well, that's not how our show is. If anybody's listening to the show, obviously there's a little bit of it, but then otherwise, like if you've just come in now, I mean, you're getting up to 2 hours of BS, which some people possibly hate because they just want to hear the horror stuff. And
it's awesome. It's awesome. The BS shows
especially the COVID talk, right, Chris?
COVID talk, cat talk, fish talk. The fucking Fangoria letters. Let's bring it all out today. Fucking guns blazing.
If we had the time, I would. Don't tempt me. Believe me, I'll go Fangoria. No, but okay, let me ask you this, Chris, because this is going out to the masses, and I want your honest everything on this, okay?
The masses. Well, so at least a dozen people will hear this.
At least. Pops. If we're lucky, we hit triple digits, maybe. Right.
We're still tier 4 podcast.
That's true. To the public, I should say. The way we were then, the way we were, I'm talking prior to Patreon, the way we were after we went to Patreon, when we were doing all those crazy reviews that we couldn't keep up with, like yours and everything else's, and the way it is now, I mean, taking B out of the equation, let's not even get that into the discussion because we'll never hit those heights again. But the fact of us, the way it is now, well, I mean, on a regular basis, you got to have B. B is irreplaceable. We've already discussed this. There's not another host.
No,
there's
not.
Even if we wanted to get someone like that, he's like a one of a kind, truly. So what is the way the shows are now, and I'm not talking about December because it was a lot of BSing and lists and fun stuff, but what is your take on it now? Like we always say when we're doing things, I'm like, well, if they don't like it, they would say something. No one ever complained. That's what I always tell Christian. Nobody's ever complained. If they complained, that'd be one thing. But
except for one guy
ever seems.
I was going to say
3.5 years ago.
Well, it's been a minute, right? But here we are now in 2024, basically, just about to be. It's Christmas morning, and I feel worse today than I'm going to feel on what do you call it? New Year's Day.
Boxing Day morning, not Christmas morning.
It's Boxing Day morning. Yeah, true. Either way, I feel like shit. So what do you feel about the show now? I want to know critiques and everything. I want to know how you feel because you've been on board all this time. How do you feel about the direction we're in right now?
I think it's great. To be completely honest with you, you guys do a 3-hour bullshit show, and that's totally fine with me. When you guys do 30 minutes or an hour of bullshit and then review a couple movies, I don't care. The content is great no matter what.
Okay.
I mean, other than losing Brandon, I mean, it's still as good as it's ever been.
And
we can't replace Brandon.
Hopefully we'll be back on the year-end show. He did say, he's watching enough movies this year with someone's horns going off the hook here. And because this is coming in a time frame where there's still some uncertainty, because the episodes that are out to the public, not the masses, but the public, I don't think they've gotten that official announcement yet. But I guess we could sort of wedge this in between that Brandon doesn't ever officially come back to the show. Everybody, sorry about that. Episode 199, he comes back for that episode, and he's been back, I think, one other time, maybe two other times since then. But he is planning on coming back for the year-end shows. But that's the reality of it. I think we've commented on YouTube when people have asked, but ultimately that's the reality of it. We were hoping he would come back. There was a magical time frame of October of that year, which I think was 2022 or 2021, excuse me. And that never happened. So it's shocking. And like I said, we just recorded episode 224 will be coming out for Patreon exclusive. And I think we're in the 80 range, like 187, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for what's going out to the public. So there's, it would have been a while before they got that official announcement that Brandon wasn't coming back.
Yeah, no, now everybody knows. And Chris, thank you, because I always say this to Christian. I say it to everybody that I'm friends with, period, that when I listen to podcasts, me personally, I don't know how everybody else thinks as a listener, but me, I listen for the hosts. If I like the hosts and I like what they usually have to say and they entertain me enough or whatever, I just like their personalities or I agree with their taste or whatever. If I like the hosts, I don't care what's going on, as long as they keep it entertaining enough for me. And that's what I like to think a lot of listeners, of our show feel, but I don't know. I just know that people don't complain. So I get a little bit, I don't know. I wouldn't say insecure, but it is a thought. I go, man, I hope people are enjoying it. But
no, it's all about the host. Just like when you guys review movies that I personally might not give a shit about, I still listen to it just for you guys. Fucking here we go, man.
He loves Possession, this guy.
I wouldn't say I love it, but it's really good. It's just such a weird fucking movie, dude.
It's rocking chair art.
To this day, I confuse those two Sams because the guy's in the rocking chair. What's the guy's name in this movie?
Sam Neill.
It's in the rocking. It's okay, Sam Neill. See, I confuse him. Okay, I can Neil rocking in that chair all the time. For the rest of my life, because of that movie, I confuse those. That's how my fucking brain works. So you know.
Who do you think is in there? Sorry, you
Yeah.
broke up. It says my internet connection is unstable for whatever reason, even though there's nothing
You're
else happening
unstable.
in this house right now. Yeah. But
Fucking
so who
dial-up.
do you confuse him with?
I confuse Sam Neill with Sam Rockwell because Sam Neill is rocking in the fucking rocking chair, and he, you know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I think of them as the same person. It's
Wow.
fucked up.
That's
I'm
funny
fucked
though.
up. That's how my head works.
Oh
Because
man,
he does rock well. Doesn't he rock well in that movie?
He rocks extremely well. It's off the charts rocking.
He is the rocker of all rockers in that fucking movie.
Holy shit, that movie.
He's the midnight rocker.
Oh,
So speaking
man.
of hosts, like Skeleton Crew and 22 Shots, whatever they do, I'd listen to, same thing. And you were on the Skeleton Crew. Well, you did the thing with Alex. He actually, he popped his cherry, not with us, but with Alex. And
yeah, we did the Bare Bones episode.
Yeah, the Bare Bones. They talked about planes, trains, and automobiles. So I was like, look at this. At first, I was a little bit triggered because of the how does he not pop his cherry with us? But then again, it's the Skeleton Crew's Alex, so why not? I mean, you can't get a better.
Well, you got to do a second, like you got to do like a second tier show first before you hit big time.
Oh shit! I'm texting Alex right now.
You go right ahead.
Yeah, shit,
that's fine.
Watch out.
Like tell him Brandon told you. Anyway, so let's get into it because we said that we were going to keep this. This is tight. This is just for fun. Yes. We wanted to jump in, and I guess because of that podcasting cherry busting, Chris A.K.A Scott is now like busted at the seams to record. The guy's going to have his own show in like a week. From the sounds of it. So he wanted to talk about something. He was excited to record something. So we said, it's the season. Why not talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night? 84.
So have you guys not reviewed that movie before?
I thought we had. Dave said no, we just brought it up. Like we used the intro music for one of our Christmas episodes, but I don't believe we actually talked specifically about Silent Night, Deadly Night.
That's shocking.
It showed up on our top 50 slasher show, which is a super popular show. It's some people get introduced to us, and which just again, because this is going out to everybody, next year is going to be Year of the Slasher Part 2. And we're going to be talking about more slashers, but we put a big caveat to it, which is that we're going to be excluding anything that's considered a franchise, which is over 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So we said that it could be up to 3 movies, no problem. Anything over 3 is a franchise, whether that 4th one's a remake or however it's been done or turned into a TV show or whatever it may be, it's out of the running. So it really limits a lot of the main players, like whether it be Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, oh, not Evil Dead in this case, but Friday the 13th, Psycho, Nightmare on Elm Street, what have you, out, gone. Hell, Silent Night, Deadly Night, gone.
Well, yeah, and you know that's sad because the rest aren't really slashers. And it's unfortunate that it became a franchise because they just became like Christmas movies. I mean, the second one, yeah.
But the second one and the remake, but...
Well, yeah, but I mean, all the other ones that have made it a franchise, you know what I mean? They're not even really slasher. And I can't think of another franchise like that. The first one's a slasher, and then they go into other, you know what I mean? I mean, Halloween, I guess they're with 3. But you know what? Get what I'm saying about. This is what's really weird about Christmas movies. We have never reviewed what I consider the big 3. We have never done Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night, or Christmas Evil. We've discussed newer ones. We've discussed Red Christmas. We've discussed a couple others.
It popped up on the show, but you're right.
Yeah, they talked a lot. We talk about them a lot. But
you haven't done an official review of Black Christmas yet?
No, I've tried to get them to do it. I don't think they wanted me to because they thought I was going to say bad things. But
we've talked about that so many times on the show, though, David. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. That I think that's the reason why. True. I think we've like it's come up so many times. But you're right. I don't think we've actually done one of our half-hour to an hour long reviews of the the movie.
Wow,
isn't that weird? Yeah, I guess every year when we do a Christmas thing, we do newer stuff because it seems like there's always newer Christmas horror movies coming out. Same thing with Halloween. When we were doing Halloween shows on the regular and Christmas shows on the regular, there was always new stuff coming out we wanted to highlight. So that's kind of why I think. But I'm so burnt out on Halloween horror and Christmas horror. Not burnt out. I just, because I'm a podcast listener, I don't want to hear about those old movies again and again and again anymore. As much as I love them, there's only so much people can say about freaking Santa's Little Helper or Satan's Little Helper, and there's only so much they can say about freaking just some of these movies. I don't know.
It's funny that one was the first one that popped up in your
head. Because I could talk about Friday the 13th, Halloween, and all those other ones.
Same. Sorry, Dave.
Okay, yeah,
there's a bit of a delay. It's Chris is there still, but I feel like I keep freezing up. So if I'm talking over you, as usual, I apologize to you and everybody out there. But yeah, no, I go back and forth. I guess again, it all boils down to the hosts and how they tackle the subject. That if I'm, if I like them, I can listen to them talk about anything and ad nauseum. Like you brought up Friday 13th. How many times does that wedge its way in to our show? We're talking Christmas and it's still here right now. So, well, let's talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night. Let's talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night, because I actually never rated this very high when I was younger. It was this one in Sleepaway Camp and a handful of other ones that have grown on me over the years. And now I watch it every freaking Christmas.
100%. Sleepaway Camp, same thing for me. So I saw this movie in like 87 or 88. I rented it with my buddy on VHS. One time watch, didn't watch it again until probably 8 years ago, before the uncut Blu-ray came out. So I saw it on DVD. So that was only my second time watching it. And after I finished, I was like, this movie just kind of sucks. And then after the I didn't like it. The whole punish, naughty, all that stuff, it was just taking me out of all the kills. I was fine with the kills, and then he'd come out and say punish or naughty, and I was just like, that's so stupid. So then after the Blu-ray came out, all the uncut, they put the scenes back in there. I rewatched it. It was like, oh, that's not bad. It's better. And I've watched it every year since. So this is probably like the 5th or 6th year in a row that I've watched it. And it gets better, I swear, every single time I watch it. So now I really, really like it.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that. That's great. And I've always loved it. I've been watching it since like the mid 80s. Like I said, when it came out on VHS, I had the box right there. I should bring it out, but that big box freaking, and I remember.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yep.
And it had that allure to it because it said something about being banned somewhere or something else, or there was a controversy with it. And then
I got the shirt on right now.
Nice.
There it is.
Oh, I love it.
I got to ban that from the show.
I got a shirt upstairs. I got the shirt there. I got the poster there. I got videotape there. I do have it all over. But to skip forward, I rented it when I was a kid. Loved it. As a matter of fact, I'm watching it last night with my wife, which I was and daughter, which Francesca and I, this will be the 3rd straight year. She's on board with it. She loves it. So now it's our tradition. But I've been watching it every Christmas for as long as I can remember, like at least 20 years, I would say.
Wow.
I've always said it was my favorite Christmas and everything else. Christmas horror. Always loved. And last night I'm watching it with my wife and daughter, and I said, I remember where I was. I go, every time I see the scene, it takes me back, and it's when they're going down the sleds and there's the beheading. And I said, I remember where I go. Me and my buddy Scott were at my house on Wurlitzer, my mother's house, where we watched all our movies in my bedroom, freaking on the TV with the videotape. And I remember us watching that the very first time because of what I took from the beheading. Because back then, a beheading was a real big deal. You didn't see them all the time. Yeah, we saw it in Friday One. You saw, but when somebody was beheaded in a horror movie, people talked about it, and that's what I remember. And to this day,
the kid on the sled?
Yes, the kid on the sled. Because remember, VHS, it was uncut. The only time it wasn't uncut is when it came to DVD. The VHS was uncut, and that's what we had. Then it came to DVD the first time. And then
I didn't think so. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Well, you could see on the Blu-ray, Christian.
So all of the scenes that were all the scenes that were added back into this Blu-ray were on the original VHS?
Correct.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that's where it came from. You could see the quality that they tried.
Well, yeah, the quality is different for sure.
So, but I wouldn't call that quality it doesn't look DVD. It looks more VHS to me. So I always equated that with they try to upscale the VHS in whatever way they can, you know?
I wasn't aware of that,
Okay.
but okay, because I always thought it was cut. And as I was back in the day,
No.
I've mentioned this on the show a few times. I was, if part 2 existed of a movie, I went and I rented that first. Don't ask me why, but when I was
Oh,
like,
that makes sense.
15, I went like, so Phantasm 2, I got it. Sleepaway Camp 2, I rented. I almost think I saw that first, if I'm going by memory, but it's a little blurry. Evil Dead 2 and Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. Those are the ones I think I did when I went, since part 2 existed. I'm like, well, it's newer. It's got to be better. And in this case, boy, I got like my bang for my buck because it pretty much recaps all the good stuff from part 1 in part 2. But part 2 is such a bad movie. Holy shit.
It's a bad movie in the best possible way.
Yeah. I mean, I could watch
at least
that
the
too.
second half of the movie.
I could watch that too, but you literally push that to like a bonus view. If I'm like, okay, now what can I watch? But this one is starting to rank in the yearly. It didn't make my list though. I actually booted it off the list. It's on my honorable mentions because there's too many heavy hitters. Because I didn't just put horror. If it was just horror movies, top Christmas, it would be on the list, no question. But I mean, I just put top 10 Christmas movies or movies that I typically watch around the holidays. So that's why
here's the box
nixed off my list. Yeah, that's
it.
This is the VHS, and it's on the bottom. Well, you can't see it here, but it says this video cassette contains previously unreleased footage, and it came out in '86. And this is the one I always remember, because we didn't have a lot of big boxes back in the day. When you did, you usually remembered them. So this is the one I wanted, and this was the one I rented. I know, right? So this one, it was unreleased, because I remember the beheading and this and that, and Linnea's scene and the gore. And then then I didn't see it for a little while. And then when it came out on DVD, late 90s, early 2000s, I remember it being cut and like, son of a bitch. And it stayed that way for a while until they reinserted it. But I didn't mind so much. I still enjoyed the movie, just like My Bloody Valentine. When I was introduced to My Bloody Valentine, I saw the cut version. I didn't see the uncut stuff until that Blu-ray came out a few years back. Same thing that's one great thing that Shout Factory has done. Is restore the Silent Night, Deadly Night, the My Bloody Valentine, and then getting their hands on the Friday 2. I wish they could upscale it all as good as they did. Because My Bloody Valentine now is almost flawless. You can't even really tell when it's the footage anymore, because they had one release where you could tell, like in Silent Night, Deadly Night, but then the other release, it almost looks identical in quality to the rest of it. They did it so well. This one, and I was talking about it the other day. Was it here or was it another podcast? But someone was saying that the Silent Night, Deadly Night, it's kind of cool in a way that it does go to that lesser quality, because then you could see what's cut, and it is a little bit of nostalgia there.
That's exactly how I felt when I watched it this week. When you get the scene, it's almost like you're watching something that people don't want you to see, so it almost made it cool.
Explain to my daughter why she censored. I go, this happened, and an MPAA came in, and I think they'd really cut this movie because of the controversy of the Santa Claus, because it got pulled and everything else. It was a very, so I think this one took the brunt of that. But anyway, the movie itself, for me, I've always loved it. It's all I said forever. It's my favorite Christmas horror movie. I've always have. There's not a dull moment in it. It's an hour and 25 minutes, and the pacing of it is just freaking perfect. The kills are fun. The story is actually good, actually shot well and scored well. This movie, it seems to be overlooked. It's a well-made movie, and doesn't seem to be, remembered that way. I think people just look at it as the dumb slasher, and I think it's more than that.
Well, they tried to make more of it because they incorporate, man, my internet is really bad here. I don't know what's going on today. Like I said, no one's really around doing anything, but it's been breaking up left, right, and center. So hopefully you can hear me. But the character, the fact that they take him from a kid like a young kid to like, some like, I guess like, it's what is he supposed to be like 6, 12, and then 18? Is that kind of like the age bracket for Billy?
Probably.
I
Or
don't
in and
think it
around
jumps
that?
from 6 to 12 because I think it goes from 71 to 74 when you see him
Yep.
next, and then it goes
Oh,
to 84 after that.
okay.
So he
Yep.
goes from like 5 to 8 to 18, I believe.
Well, then the only misstep
Yep.
there is like the total casting of someone that doesn't look remotely like the kid when he's like
Exactly.
3 years younger. It's like a total
Totally
shift.
different person.
Like
Yeah.
like hair, look, everything. It was weird.
Teeth. Yeah.
Good actor. The kid's a good actor, but I mean, all the Billies are actually decent actors. All things considered for this type of budget and movie. I think it's because you follow how fucked up he gets, and how like the Santa suit triggers him and whatnot. And I think that's what makes and differentiates this from other things out there. But it's not done in a character study way that like Christmas Evil's done or a Maniac. It's still done in like feet firmly planted in the slasher. But it kind of goes against your description of a slasher, Dave, where we do get like it is focused on his point of view
Right.
a little, but it's a slasher film.
It definitely is. It's funny that you said that because I was just thinking about that. It's making me reevaluate the whole thing about the slasher because this is obviously a slasher. So, and he is the main character. There is no final girl. So this is different. And this was shot in 81 during the heyday. We just didn't get the release till freaking 84. But it was shot early, just like what do you call it was? Evil Dead was shot in 81, but we didn't get it till a couple years later.
Wasn't
You know?
Blood Rage? I don't think Blood Rage was filmed that early, but Curtains and Blood Rage, I think both were filmed earlier and then released a little bit later.
Blood Rage was filmed in 83, but it wasn't released until 87.
Yeah.
And you can tell when you watch it,
Yep.
that does not feel like a 1987 movie.
No.
Right.
That's a whole different beast unto itself.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we're not talking about that one, but although it fits, it can easily double bill it with this movie, I think.
Oh yeah.
And have a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And that one is a little bit more so bad it's good. If I know some people hate that saying, but
Oh,
I
for
love
sure.
it because
No,
that
you're
sums
right.
it up for sure. And I used to think Silent Night, Deadly Night was like that, but now I lean more about what David's saying, and they know this has enough merit on its own. But I agree, Chris, with the punish stuff a little too much. That I think it takes
I
away
love
from
it.
some of the I like it, but I think they lean a little too much onto it.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me anymore. Now, I do wish there were some scenes where they just completely eliminated it, but I'm just so used to it now. It's like I don't even pay attention to that anymore.
Yeah.
I walk around the house saying it. Funny,
Punish.
naughty. I was saying it
Yeah.
yesterday. I love it, man. And my daughter loves it so much. So it's, and then, I'll bring out the famous, the best part of the whole freaking thing is, you better run for your life. That's
Oh, that grandfather.
so
Why does he just pop back in? Is he
that
faking
scene.
it? Or did Christmas just trigger him regaining
nuts.
consciousness? Like, all right, okay, so he's nuts, but like he just didn't talk, and then he decided now is my time to talk and scare the shit out of my grandson. Let him go. And that Santa's the
I
most
think he's
sadistic
faking it.
Santa.
He's
known
nuts,
to man.
obviously, because who would scare a kid? Obviously, someone who's not in the right mind, especially your old grandson. So I feel that he's crazy, but he's crazy in a way that, he's faking the not talking. I just think he doesn't want to be bothered with people. And it's just easy. His life is easier that way. Think about it. If you didn't have to talk to anyone and could just sit there, your life might be easier too. And if you know what I mean? I just think he doesn't want to be bothered and he would just rather play that role. But he is obviously crazy because who says that to a kid?
Yeah, I always
And that's
assumed
why the kid goes crazy. Right? This is, as I'm watching it last night, we're talking about the kid, about Billy, and I go, well, this happened and this happened. I go, but it does run in his family. There are mental issues in his family. His grandfather's obviously mental, so he could snap too.
I always just assumed the grandpa was completely, pulling one over on everyone just because he didn't want to engage with anybody. But when he said opening, when the kid was there by himself, and because he's nuts, he took it, ran with it, and scared the living shit out of him.
which is,
I love that.
that's
scene.
why this is a little bit more
Yeah,
mean-spirited.
boy.
Yeah, it's more mean-spirited. It's just got a sleazy kind of mean-spirited vibe throughout the whole thing. That just the stick 'em up Santa who not only has to shoot the guy like dead, but then shoot him in the head after, then pull over the family, and then like kill them. Like, what happens if he takes the car? What happened to the baby? I don't even think part 2 explains it because they show it all in flashbacks. But the baby's crying. The baby's crying because they're showing how traumatized little Billy is in that scene. All that Santa wanted was the car. So did he just toss the baby out of the car and take off? Obviously, yes, because he ends up in the orphanage with them. But they actually never explain that scene. He's like, the parents are dead. He wants the car. And would the Santa just drive off, or do you think he tossed the baby out? And then who came across the family to save those kids? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm assuming he just set him on the side of the road, because if you'd have left him in the car and that kid would have been screaming, that guy would have just shot him.
So you thought he did want the car? I was under the impression that was just a fake, that his car broke down just to give people to stop because he wanted more money, because he was pissed because he only got $31. So I thought he wanted to steal whatever money he could get. And that was, they just wrong place, wrong time. And when he shot them, it was an accident that he killed the father. You know, he was shooting at them to stop them when they tried to get away. He kills the father, hits him in the head, goes down. Then I just figure the woman, whatever, that's like another story. That's like a rape and a kill.
Well, yeah, I just think he's a sadistic guy. No, I think he broke down because he's in the middle of nowhere. They're even saying, who would break it? Like, this is like in the middle of nowhere. And so if he was so pissed off about the lousy $31, I think he would have tried to hit more people up in that area, but he's making a run for it. His car breaks down. I think he literally had car trouble. And I think he wanted their car at that time. But
yeah, that's what I've always thought.
Yeah. I also didn't think Michael Myers ate dog in the first Halloween.
Oh, he ate it all right.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not
mustard
even
underneath the
one.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget that. I'm holding you up, asshole.
Yeah.
I love this fucking movie. I do. I can quote this movie. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. And I know people refer to it as a great Christmas horror movie, but I don't think it gets the attention it should. I really don't. I think there's so many good lines in it, and it's just, I don't know. It's always been special to me.
So do you recognize the crazy grandpa in this movie from another movie that came out a year or two after this one?
Yes.
And I forgot what it was.
Yeah. Same.
He's the Mr. Peabody in Back to the Future when Marty goes back in time and crashes into the barn.
Yeah.
Comes out with the gun.
Yeah.
Fucking camera.
Yeah. Get that camera working. Even the camera
I don't know,
doesn't want to
just
see
keep shutting off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy that comes running out with a gun.
That's awesome, Mr. Pete.
And every time I watch that,
I just realized it the last time I watched Back to the Future, which was a couple years ago. I was like, holy shit, that's the fucking grandpa from Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah.
I remember it every time I watch Back to the Future. It happens. I'm like, oh yeah, that's him. And then I forget about it. Like you said, I forgot what it was from.
And did you recognize the woman that plays Billy's mom that gets assaulted?
Yes, she's from. Well, I could tell you this. She's one of the two girls from the Cannonball Run.
Yes, that's what I know her from.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, that one I didn't know. But
yeah, it's her and Adrienne Barbeau are the ones driving that black Lamborghini in the Cannonball Run.
The mom, the woman that works in the toy store. She's also at the beginning of Halloween 4.
Halloween 4, yep.
Yeah, I remember that. And then of course, the boyfriend who is with Linnea Quigley. He plays the Howard Stern-esque DJ in Halloween 6.
Oh, does he really?
Michael Myers, yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in years.
That's Barry Sims?
Yeah.
Are you? Wow, yeah. I'm shocked. Wow. See, he looks more to me like a typical 80s. He looks like Johnny Lawrence. You know what I mean? He has that freaking look that all the heels had.
The Karate Kid Cobra Kai look of the day.
Yeah, for sure. I'm too busy looking at Linnea in that scene because to me, That is my favorite Linnea. That is my favorite look of hers. The hair isn't the greatest, but as far as everything else and how pretty she is and how perfect her body is, and my God,
she looks good. But I'll be honest, I prefer Pamela in this movie, the brunette.
Really?
Start. Yes, yes.
Wow, she's pretty.
Yeah.
Did you say she was a porn star?
No.
Oh, what did you say?
I said from the toy store.
Toy store,
No.
porn star. I guess I just, I don't know what I'm hearing, but anyway, yes, I don't disagree. Both are fine. It is weird though, because at the toy store, at least you can understand his rage and why he's killing and why they're victims there. But then when it becomes the free for all, it is kind of weird because he just picks one random house to go into, kill those two. And I can understand even the Sledders more because he's heading back to the orphanage, right? He's walking on foot, hightailing it back to the orphanage, and he's taking the forest route to get out of the way of the police. But I guess that's to make sure that the police are in hot pursuit, because otherwise they wouldn't know that he was in that he was the. Because isn't that what happens? Isn't he like walking down the side of the road? The cop car comes and he heads into the forest.
I don't think so. No, they just show those kids in the forest. But we do. This is it. The police, they find out about it because of what happens with Linnea and the boy. They say that there's been murders. So
that's the link. That's why they did it. There's been outside murders, and the toy store ones they don't know about yet, but those ones, yeah, they see. Probably because that guy's been thrown out the window and covered in glass.
Think
like a big shard of glass in him.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, that's awesome. With that glass sticking out of it. Yeah, that's badass.
They freaking show it again at the end and they focus. Yeah, man. All the kills are solid.
Well, talk about lucky victims too, like those two kids that I almost always forget that those two kids that they start with that are going tobogganing actually get bullied out of the toboggans. And then the other two guys are the ones that get killed. That's great. I love it. Imagine being those two kids and realizing it the next day.
And then these fucking like 40-year-olds come out of the woods and gonna steal your sleds so they can go sledding. Are you kidding?
Sledding down which looks like the most flat terrain known to man.
It's the worst sledding hill of all time, and the guy's like he's going down the fucking Screaming Eagle roller coaster at Six Flags.
Right?
They're having way too much fun. And the reaction.
Hill.
Yeah.
Shit breeder.
The reaction of him jumping out, and whether it's says naughty or punish at that particular point, to the kid instantaneously screaming. He has no chance, other than I guess like the guy just scared him. He has no chance to react that this is about to get his head cut off or die. He just knows that some guy in a Santa Claus suit jumped up in front of him, but he screams bloody murder as if he's gonna die in that one moment. It's hilarious. Like it's instantaneous recognition of death.
It's funny that they say it's what do you call it too? They go, oh yeah, this is Virgin whatever, the mountain, and you look and there's all kinds of tracks. It's like they've already sledded.
There's already been tons of sledders.
Take 20
clear as day.
At that point they'd already done like 10-20 takes. Get that. But it's good. They're great deaths. I mean, like you said, they're the most memorable deaths.
Hell yeah.
Because of that. And that's, I remember the girl got impaled on the antlers and a guy got beheaded on a sled. Like that's what you remember. So
and we show
100%.
that scene of the headless body coming down, with just kind of hunched over in the sled, decapitated. That looks great.
Yes, that's it. That's the memory I have, seeing that the first time and going, whoa, man, oh man. Yeah, all really good kill. And I'm going to pose a question because I've watched this movie with, different people for the first time. And I've had other people question this for me. And I never thought it was something that needs to be questioned, but obviously some do. The part where he kills the freaking guy in the store when he holds him up, when he's trying to get fresh with that girl, and he, she strangles him and kills him, and then she gets mad at him after that's happening. I've had people not understand why she gets mad at him for doing that, and I go, well, it makes sense to me. He killed him. He should have just freaking, beat the shit out of him or something, and that's the end of it, right?
Exactly. I mean, that guy was a prick, but then that girl's not going to want to sit here and watch him get murdered right in front of her eyes.
Murders him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's a bit different than like a little cock or Chris's favorite. But it's not a punch. He strangles him to death in front of her.
Lifts him off the fucking ground. That guy had to have weighed at least 160, 170 pounds.
Yeah.
And Billy just lifts him up like he's nothing. Why does my camera keep shutting off?
I don't know, but it's like I said, it's doing us a favor.
And what are you
doing? The best part of that is that guy. You gotta you look at Dave now and look at that guy in the thing. Take the glasses off, Dave. And they're twin brothers. They are twin brothers.
I didn't notice that when I was watching the movie, but yeah, I can see it.
That's what Jamie says.
Yeah.
But the guy next door.
I'll put the visuals up on the video version of this, and you'll see Dave versus the guy that we're talking about that gets killed again, he's doing a shitty deed, but he gets killed instead of just beat up in Silent Night, Deadly Night in the back of the toy store.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he's assaulting Pamela, basically. She slaps him, and he goes, "You goddamn little bitch!" Pins her down, and then doesn't even do anything. If you look close, he's not even kissing on her. He's rubbing his chin on her chest. It's like they didn't even try to hide the fact that he wasn't actually doing anything.
Right.
And but it's still such a mean-spirited moment.
But then they do a great flashback to when Billy's mom got murdered, and they show the actual throat slit.
Yes.
Because earlier in the movie, they cut away before they show the throat cut. But then in that scene, they show the whole slit, and it's a good one because it goes slow. Like, it's not a quick one. He starts here and then just slowly goes over there. It's really good effect.
Yep. No. Yeah. Great. Same as the one when he kills the girl. Pamela, and he puts it in, or is it Pamela? He does, yeah, it does, and then he pulls it up.
Puts it in her belly button, and just goes straight up.
Yeah, that's good shit. There's some nice kills, man. It's fun.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Oh, what was I gonna say about that? The throat slit. Whatever. Who knows? I lost it. Oh no, the guy next door to me. His name is Joe, and he lives in the house next door. And as we're watching the movie last night, my daughter and wife said that looks like Joe. The guy that you said looks like me. Isn't that weird?
Hilarious.
They didn't notice it.
And they live with you.
For years has said that it looks like me.
Yeah.
Right. But they think it looks more like Joe. I should get Joe's picture and put it up too.
Is it Joe Pesci? Because that's who I thought he looked like. That's who he reminded me of.
I don't know. He is Italian.
Like Joe Pesci. Italian you sound like Joe Pesci.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll combine.
Well, now let's jump to the cop that's hot on the trail. He gets the lead that he's heading back to the orphanage, or they just assume that he's heading back to the orphanage. So he's zipping it back to the orphanage. And now we hang out for like pretty much the third act with this cop, it seems, because if anybody complains, there's been more recent complaints about, I'm going to bring up Halloween 2, when the security guard goes looking for that noise, and we're with him for a long time as he goes in and checks this little corridor, and then a cat jumps out at him, and then eventually Michael Myers hits him in the head with a hammer. The same thing happens in this fucking movie. We follow this cop through a major search, and it's trying to build suspense, which is great. It just is so weird because it comes so late in the movie that you'd figure that this would be more at the beginning part, after all but we've had all this bloodshed and all this mean spiritedness that it suddenly shifts into like this kind of suspenseful good moment in the movie. And I hate to say that, but it's just weird because it's like they switched it. And now, but we're with this guy for a long time. It's like, it feels like a 5-minute scene. It's probably shorter, but it feels like we're with him for a long time. And the payoff is great, but I just feel like the movie like almost like stands still in that moment.
Yeah, that scene drags on a little bit too long, in my opinion, by about a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were trying to stretch the runtime.
Yeah. Or something. I mean,
100%. I think it's perfectly I think the movie itself is perfectly paced, except for that 2-minute thing when the cop goes in that building and whatever that thing is and walks around and does that and that. Yeah. I don't mind them following him when he's driving and all the other stuff, and he's got to go back and they shoot the deaf priest and everything.
The wrong guy.
That's okay. Yeah. Right. But that's good because it's a good element to the film because we haven't mentioned her once, but Sister Catherine is freaking great. She genuinely cares about Billy. She understands what he's going through. If Sister Catherine would have been Mother Superior, if she would have been, that far into it and been older, none of this happens. Like Mother Superior.
The lady that plays Mother Superior, she was 58 when this was filmed, and she looks like she's 88.
Wow.
It's true.
Damn. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I've become obsessed over the last few years with looking up people's ages in these older horror or older movies of any kind when I watch them to compare me now to what they were then.
Yeah.
Like the mother in Gremlins. You picture her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched it.
She was 39 years old when they filmed that. She looks like a grandma.
It's the hairstyle.
It's the hairdo. Yes.
Yeah, the way they give her the old looking hair. Like, I mean, I'm sure if you really focus on her features, she looks young, but you're right. She looks significantly older. It's always shocking to know what their actual ages are when you go back to that. I've been doing that too. I do that as well. I got admittedly.
Yeah, but when I saw the Mother Superior was only 58 when they filmed this, that kind of blew my mind.
Damn, that's crazy.
Imagine like the other thing about it, which a lot of people are going to say is great, and I'm not saying it's not, but it just lends again to why I could see why this got banned, why this had so much controversy at the time, because you have this a wholesome figure of Santa in a sense, and it gets like what he goes through in this movie. Just think of the kids in the last act. They see the deaf janitor guy get shot down in front of them, dead. And then Billy gets shot down in front of them, dead.
Mm-hmm.
All within the span of like an hour.
2 Santa Clauses killed.
All those kids are fucked. They should have just made all those Silent Night, Deadly Night sequels, just every kid from that orphanage going on the killing spree they got earlier. Older and earlier. Older.
That would have worked. Yeah, it's sad. They... 2 Santa Clauses are killed right in front of them, and then Mother Superior is telling the other one there is no Santa Claus. So these kids at this age, they know it's over. They're not going to believe in Santa Claus anymore. It's tragic, and a lot of it's her fault. Like I said, if she's like, my methods work, you'll see this and this. If she wasn't the way she was, she's just as responsible for everything as the opening scene, and then what happened to go on after. It's too bad, but I mean, the worst part is, she doesn't get her comeuppance at the end of the movie.
No.
And she's so cocky. She's sitting there. He's coming up with the freaking axe about to come down on her, and she's in a wheelchair, and she's standing there freaking calm as a freaking cucumber, just looking up at him. Like maybe she saw the cop came in and saw he was about to shoot it, but still, she had no fucking fear, man.
Well, no, she's got God on her side, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's true.
You're
she
safe
thought she
now.
was godly.
Santa is dead. Santa Claus is dead. Isn't that like how it ends? Like sad. That is. But they did do a smart thing with the naughty, as cheesy as that line might be, just with him saying it at the end, that the brother. I thought that was a good little addition.
Nice stinger for a sequel.
Yeah.
How about that though? 1981, when they filmed this, Billy actually is doing something. When you were talking about how he's holding him up, all that strength that he has, this is pre-Jason and pre-Michael for what they came to be, really. Yeah. I mean, Michael wasn't particularly killing people that way until like he came back for part 3, and Jason didn't start doing it, until at least the third one, which was when this one was filmed, it wasn't out yet. So having this, this killer with this inhuman strength,
Well,
It
Michael
happened in
kind
this
of
movie
had it.
before the
Michael
other
had
one.
it. He suspended
To a degree.
dude up, and
He
then
got
the
it from
nurse
shots.
with the when she gets stabbed in the back and her shoes
Yeah.
fall off. Like they had it there.
Yeah.
But
True.
I get it but again, Michael was always sort of seen because he had already survived gunshots and whatnot, supernatural in a sense, whereas Billy's human. And he's got an axe.
Right.
Sorry. That's what this title should have been. Oh, Chris also loves to pray, everybody.
Oh. It's good. It's not great. Gary is the one that loves the pray. Shout out Gary.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So does the actor that plays Billy in this movie, does he remind you guys of anybody? Another actor? Or I shouldn't, well, yeah, another actor.
Like a young Mickey Rourke?
No. This guy is not an actor per se.
Oh, you prick.
He was in one
Peter
movie.
North?
No, he reminds me of Tommy Morrison from Rocky V.
Good call.
Yep.
Yeah,
right.
now that you mention it, yeah. That is a good call.
I think he looks very, very similar to him.
We haven't, I don't mean to shift gears, but we haven't even talked about the music. And I'm not talking about the score. I'm talking about like the soundtrack in the sense of
it's all great.
Oh, well, the Santa's coming, that whole thing at the beginning, the
song.
Introducing.
Yeah.
Great, haunting, awesome. And then just like the actual songs, that the montage sequence, warm side of the door.
Warm side of the door.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That whole scene is wonderful cheese. I mean,
yes.
That's
just
almost
being in that toy store, that song playing, all those toys.
Yep. Oh, yes.
All those memories. Yeah, they had
love
like
that
a
store.
Star Wars shit that I was like, I wanted that.
Everything.
I wanted that. The Jabba's lair.
Yeah, Jabba the Hutt.
The Jabba the Hutt prominently displayed there, and I did have that.
Yep, me too.
Oh,
I had half the things in there. That freaking place, you know.
I had Castle Grayskull in one quick scene. I don't know if you saw it sitting there.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
All the
toys,
stuff.
everything.
Yeah, all the shit. I remember, that stuff's great too. From a time capsule standpoint as well. But
I love it.
No,
and one side of the door is the greatest.
Yep.
That scene alone,
my God.
It really is.
If you haven't watched the movie, you could probably find it on YouTube. Just watch that. I mean, to just know what you're getting yourself into, because it's fucking hilarious. It's great.
Yeah, can you imagine telling somebody, hey, if you've never seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, here, watch this one scene. And if you like that scene, then watch the rest of the movie. They'd be like, oh, this looks, like a nice family movie or whatever. And then you can watch the rest of the shit. The woman's getting sexually assaulted in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Except for that one scene in the montage when he sees they unroll the picture of Santa Claus and his face goes from smile to frown, like it's it's great. But the best part of it all is the milk thing. Is the fucking he shows him you want some booze?
He just holds milk up.
And he holds up the carton of milk.
Sorry.
Got milk. It's
greatest.
So cheesy, but it's fantastic. And that song is so cheesy, but fantastic. I don't think this guy directed anything else other than this though. Like I if he did, it was like maybe one other film.
Ida, isn't his name Ida?
I mean, after I don't know much more before, but I think
that was one of the producers, Dave.
Oh,
one of the producers was named Ira, so I'm assuming that's why. Obviously, they named the toy store that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought too. It's not the director. Okay, man. Yeah, it's too bad because I think it's well made. Like I said, the score and the soundtrack too on top of it, and the way it's shot doesn't look amateur.
No, not at all.
I got to keep shutting my camera off because I don't know what's going on with this.
It's overlooked.
It is. It's all good. I'm sorry, man. I know it's all flickering back and forth. His is a mistake.
What is that little picture? Is that
Oh,
your
that's
house or something?
No, that's from the beginning of Friday the 13th. That's when I was down in Blairstown. I took
Oh,
the
it's so
picture.
small I can't see it. It's this little
Yeah.
tiny square, and it
Just
just
a
looks like
little
grass on a house.
orchard.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I get. I don't mean to hurry it up, but because we're making this a short
Yeah.
show and we got to get to our list. I've gone up like it's slowly creeped up, but it's still I'm still hesitant because I do feel like there's some, you know, slow parts and whatnot as well. But I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I give it a solid 8 slash possibly 8. I normally don't rate on halves like you guys do. I just do 1 to 10. So I would give
nothing
this
wrong with that.
a very strong 8. So I guess technically you could say 8.5.
Wow, I've had the same rating for years. It's a 9 for me. I fucking love it.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
That's
I think
great.
it's
I was thinking of doing an
incredible.
8, but
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's not on my top 10 list. Like I said, it's not on my top 10 list, but I do watch it every year. So that's got to say something.
Right.
But one other quick scene that we didn't talk about, I just want to go over real quick. So the scene where it's when they're looking for the cops are looking for Billy. They show that house from the outside. The guy's dressed like Santa Claus, has a ladder set up going into his daughter's bedroom. First of all, why would you have to climb through a window if your daughter's asleep?
Yeah.
So he climbs in the window, okay? The cops come running in. Before they open the door, it shows the dad. He's standing over his daughter's bed, and he's slowly reaching for her face. Like he was going to smother her or something. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
And then the cops run in, flip the lights on, and the wife is standing right behind the cops, and she's got a look of pure fucking horror on her face, seeing this dad about to do whatever to this little girl. I think that's really weird.
It was supposed to be innocent, but it's filmed in such a way that you're right. Like, what the hell is he doing? Like, why could he just walk through her door? Well, we know why, because the cops wouldn't have seen him. It's to set up the fake Santa. We're supposed to think, he's going up to this kid's house, and it's all set up, and then the cops come in only to realize it's dad. But you're right. Everything it's done, it's creepy.
Yeah, just the fact that he was slowly reaching for her face.
Right.
It's like, what? Is there ulterior motives here? I mean, what's going on?
They just saved that kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit! And the wife's all pissed off. What she says when they run up the stairs, the cops.
Yeah. Well, they just come right into her house and right up the stairs. Why wouldn't one guy go up the ladder?
What are you doing? You can't do that.
Why wouldn't one cop go in and one guard the ladder? They just saw him go up the ladder.
Oh, good point.
True. You're right. Daddy. Yeah. Amazing.
Anyway. No.
So
fun flick. And if you want the shorter version, just watch part 2 and you'll get all the good stuff condensed from the first movie. And then like a quick jack sequel for the last act of part 2.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. So we got to do our list here, right?
Yeah, man.
Just breeze through them real quick.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about these like in depth like we normally do a full show. But yeah, I just put the ones that I've literally watched. Like, again, obviously there has to be some exclusions because there's only 10, but that are consistent. Some of these are from historical, from when I was a kid, that have carried over to now, and some of them are ones that have just happened in the last 10 years or so. So, Chris, go ahead. You're our guest. You go first, though.
Okay. So, yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night just missed the cut on this, but it's right outside my top 10. So, I didn't do any, I didn't throw, Rudolph on here or anything like that. I just focus on actual, movies, full-length feature films.
Okay.
because I just wanted to keep like Rudolph, Charlie Brown, Emmett Otter's Jugman, Christmas, those just in their own kind of little thing. So those would be my favorites as far as that stuff. As far as actual real movies, I'm going to go 10-1.
Okay.
These are ones that I watch every single year without fail. So Trading Places, even though it's not a Christmas movie per se, it does take place at Christmas. And I watch it every single year because it's just got a great Christmas theme running through the movie with the decor and all that stuff. Lethal Weapon, which is as much of a Christmas movie as Die Hard. I think it's even better than Die Hard, to be honest with you. But Lethal Weapon, Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. I think that movie is hysterical. Have you seen that, Christian?
I think I walked in on my wife. That sounds so bad. Watching that one time, but I haven't watched it.
You need to watch it. It's really funny. Yeah. And Dave, I don't think you've seen that one, have you?
No,
I like both of them. I like both of them too.
You definitely need to check that out. That's funny. Next would be Elf. Not much needs to be said about that. It's just a modern classic. Bad Santa. I love both of them, but I just put the first one on this list. Really warmed up to part 2 over the last few years. I think it's really, really funny. A lot of people don't like that one, but I love it. Okay, top 5 would be Home Alone. This is from 5-1. Home Alone, Black Christmas, Christmas Vacation, A Christmas Story, and then my favorite Christmas movie of all time is Scrooged with Bill Murray. That's my number 1.
Nice, man.
Nice.
That's a good
Dave,
list.
You still haven't seen that, have you?
No, I haven't. I watched like the first 5 minutes of it, I think 2 years ago. And I remember being puzzled at Bobcat Goldthwait in a role where he was acting normal. And that's what I remember about it, but then I didn't go back to it. It isn't that I don't want to. I just...
Yeah, you need to watch it. It's great.
Yeah, I will.
I like the cheap because they have to be mentioned because these are part of it. And I'll go next because I don't know if David's finalized his list because I know that we kind of sprung it on last minute. So these are all honorable mentions. So Silent Night, Deadly Night, of Christmas Evil. Both of those, I've watched them every year now, but they didn't make my cut. Love Actually. Another one that I've been watching since it came out. And it's almost like every year, whether I watch it with my wife or whatever it may be, we just watch it every year, and I really like that. A Christmas Carol. I left this off specifically because there's so many versions of this movie, and I love almost all of them. You just talked about Scrooge being your all-time favorite. This is a cop-out because the Alistair Sim one, I believe that's the original one. That I used to watch that every Christmas when I was a kid. And so I grew up with it. If I had to really pick what my favorite one is now, although I watch like a Muppet Christmas Carol or whatever, it's probably the Disney's Christmas Carol, the one with Mickey and the Donald Duck uncle.
Mickey's Christmas Carol? Yeah, great. Yeah,
that sums up the story so well, but it's 26 minutes long. So I left it off the list because it's not a real movie, but that is the quintessential version. If you want to watch like the Coles Notes version that's done really well, that's the one to watch. It's great. So I kept it off. I'm talking long. Here's my actual top 10. 10-1. Gremlins. I love this movie with the exception of that one scene that overstays its welcome that we talked about when we reviewed it on the show a year and a half ago, where they're showcasing the Gremlins. It's probably everybody's favorite scene, but it's in the bar and they just go hog wild crazy. And I'm like, this scene goes on way too long. I wish it was taken out of the movie completely and it would be even more enjoyable. It just overstays its welcome. Number 9, Elf. Great movie, great modern Christmas movie. Number 8, Home Alone. Number 7, A Christmas Story. Number 6, Die Hard. Yeah, whether you consider a Christmas movie or not, so be it. Number 5, Lethal Weapon. I agree with Chris, man. Better than Die Hard. It never seems to get mentioned when people talk about, is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Well, Die Hard 1 and 2 are actually, and Lethal Weapon is just as much so. And I like it even more so. I watch it every year. I love it. I fucking love it. Number 4, It's a Wonderful Life. It's such a great feel-good movie. I love this movie to death. Number 3, Black Christmas. Just watched it last night. The 4K looked amazing. That set has got a ton of extras. I've watched like 2 things of extras on the thing. There's so many extras on that Scream Factory special edition. Number two, number one, this was difficult because number two was always my favorite Christmas movie since the first time I saw it, but I put it number two, Christmas Vacation. And Krampus has taken the number one spot. Fucking love it.
Nice.
Look at him.
Awesome.
Look at that reaction down there.
Movie.
Wow.
I hate that movie.
You got to watch it again.
Why?
Man. It's so great.
I've seen it twice.
What do you hate about it?
It's just way too goofy for my taste, man.
Goofy.
Wow. Goofy, yes, goofy.
A lot of people hate when the Christmas cookies come to life.
Look,
just the cookie part a little, but it's funny.
I love it.
Oh man, I don't know. I just can't get into it. I
just got my ass kicked.
It's just not for me.
By a bunch of Christmas cookies. That's great. All right, Dave, go ahead.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do mine by important they are for me. I tend not to watch everything every season, so this is kind of the way I did it. I have a couple of ones I just want to shine a light on as extra ones. And a lot of people aren't going to know what they are, but they were from the 80s, and I used to watch them all the time on HBO, and now you can just see them on YouTube. One of them is actually Rich Little's A Christmas Carol. And if you know anything about Rich Little in the 80s and the 70s, he was the guy that did impersonations of everybody. That was his gimmick. And for whatever reason, Rich Little's A Christmas Carol I watched again and again and again when I was a kid, and I love it. It's funny. It's great. It's really cool. And there's another little one called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. And
I remember it.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Very, very cool. It's heartwarming. It's about this family that are, kind of like, they're troublesome. It's a bunch of kids, and I think there's no father around, and they're like a real low income family, and they're just looked at a certain way by everybody in the neighborhood, and they end up getting the leads of the Christmas play, and everyone thinks it's going to be a disaster, and it's not. And it's a really good movie, man. It's called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. It's short, So I didn't go into full length movies. I don't even know if I have enough, to be honest, because there are not a lot of Christmas movies I feel I have to watch every year. I want to, like going into December, but it just doesn't happen. But okay, these are my 10 these are the 10 that I tend to try not to miss from 10 to 1. 10 is Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the original one. I think it was the first one they did after Rudolph, Rankin Bass. Love it. The history of Santa Claus and everything. Christmas Evil, number 9. I don't watch it every Christmas, but I try to. So there's that. I love that movie. Number 8, Black Christmas. Again, I don't get to it every Christmas. 10, 9, 8. 7, Christmas Vacation. It's an absolute classic. 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, I've loved it since I was a kid, and something about watching it now, man, it's amazing.
It's magical,
nostalgia.
Dude.
What's it called?
Yes,
it's perfect.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. It was made by Jim Henson. It came out in 1977.
Yeah, Dave, I remember you talking about this. I don't think I've ever seen this.
They used to show it on HBO every single year.
That's the reason.
Yeah, watch it. Watch it on Christmas Eve next year.
Yeah, you have Crave. You don't have HBO.
I think I remember Dave talking about this, and I was like, not Jim and Otter. Okay.
Emmett Otter, yep.
Emmett Otter. Watch it.
Emmett.
It's amazing. But on TV. Yeah. Emmett Otter. Just watch it. You won't regret it. Number 5, because you can't ignore it. I own the Blue. I never sit down and watch it because every time I go to my mother's or I go either here or my brother's after on Christmas Day when we do things, I put the TV on and it's in the background all the time because it's constantly played, and that's A Christmas Story. So there it is. And of course I love it. Don't get me wrong. Number 4, now these are the ones I do not definitely don't miss. Number 4 is Charlie Brown. Of course, Charlie Brown Christmas. Number 3, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Number 2, Silent Night, Deadly Night, which was always my number 1 for years and years and years and years until, sorry about it, until Krampus, which
I'm out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not just that, it's a family thing now where me and
No
my
refunds.
wife and my daughter have watched it every Christmas since 2016. So
yeah. Well, you saw it in
it's
2015.
tradition in our household. It's tradition. And every time I watch it, when I'm done, I'm like, masterpiece. Yes, I did at the theater.
Yeah.
And blew me away. And
yeah.
every year since. And yeah.
Oh man.
Damn, I wish you loved it too, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But it's okay.
I mean, they kill a dog, a baby, fucking children. It has a dark ending. The things they may look goofy, but they're all fucking vicious. And that scene, this is one of my favorite scenes in all of horror. When the girl first gets out, the young girl, to go visit her boyfriend, and she goes outside and it gets all dark in the street, and Krampus lands on the one house and then flies across the street and lands on the other one. No, and then he's running and dude, scary.
I do remember that shot looking really, really cool though. Yes, I agree with you there. It looks great.
Oh, the ant is absolutely hilarious. I'm with you, Dave.
Oh, I love her. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I love the ant. Everything that she says, I laugh. I don't find it as trying too hard to be funny. I don't find it as trying too hard to be. And anytime they do anything a little goofy, like for example, with those guys, those gingerbreads, they cut to the people upstairs Christmas being attacked by fucking everything else. Right. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, Chris is in the wrong, as we figured, but that's okay. I mean, he's, but no, hey, this has been awesome. And not to wrap it up, but that's what we're doing. We're wrapping it up because we got to go. So happy holidays, everybody out there. Happy New Year. See you in 2024. Hey, we still have that option, right, Dave? I think you can still latch on to a free month to trial us out. Am I right or wrong?
It may not be a month, but there is a free trial.
Yeah. Okay.
For a certain amount of time.
Let's switch it to 1 day free trial.
I think it's a week. I could be wrong. We don't control it. Patreon controls it.
Yeah, you got about another year of episodes there available to you if you haven't latched on, and you'll be able also to hear the top 23 of 2023. Yes, we're able to make a top 23 list this year.
Right on. So, Chris, thank you so much, man. This was great,
you guys. I really appreciate it, man. Dave, it was nice. Nice getting to talk to you, and Christian. Can't say the same, but
you Missourian fuck.
Will you please explain Boxing Day to me? What is Boxing Day? What do you all do?
It used to be. It's a statutory holiday. I'm not getting into that either. It's another holiday here, and everything used to be closed. So you had Christmas Day and Boxing Day to kind of hang out with your family and whatnot. Now it's become so retail oriented that people used to be open and take the fine that you would get for being open, and then they just made it open. So my daughters are going to work right now. They're working because people, come out and there's a Boxing Day week. We never had Black Friday. Black Friday is something that we sort of inherited and took. Now we've stolen it and use it. And now we have Black Friday deals as well. And that happens. That's been like the last 5 to 10 years, maybe. But Boxing Day's been around since I was a kid, and it was all this week. That's where all the sales were. And it was probably to get people back into the stores after spending all their money for the Christmas season. And they would have all these ridiculous deals because they wanted to clear out and make room and keep sales moving in the slow period.
Gotcha.
Well, what are the origins? What are the origins of Boxing?
I knew you were going to ask me this. I don't know. Look, Google it.
Yeah, start at the very beginning, Christian. Tell us the whole story, the whole history of Boxing Day.
Google is your friend at the time. You fucks.
Okay.
Why do I have to be your history book?
Well, I figure you know it. I don't know. Shit. My link to Canada. There he is.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway.
It's everybody has a Canadian friend. Like, you got to have one of everything. You know what I mean? To go to for it. Like, I have one of these friends, and then you can ask them, and it's not insulting to ask them about it. That's what it is. Well, anyway.
True. No, Chris, it was awesome. So, thanks for suggesting this.
Thank you.
And wanting to get together. Total bonus. And thank you, everybody. Sorry about all these little audio things. We're trying something different. Combination of a new system, new computer, not hardwired, and I'm wondering why it's acting up so bad today. But oh well, we got through it.
Word.
That's all right.
Yep.
Happy New Year to you guys. Christian, what year is it going to be in Canada? Next week?
We're on a whole different system here. Yeah. 2000. We're dealing with something called Y2K. Hopefully, I wonder how that turns out.
Nice.
Oh.
So thanks everyone. We'll get out of here. Happy holidays, and we love you all. And I'm glad some people are listening to us that maybe haven't heard us for a while. We're still here. We're still doing our thing. Hopefully we're just as entertaining as we ever were, or whatever the hell we are. We're still cool. So love you all. And Manchichi. And anybody got a final word or two?
I'll be back.
All right. There you go. Peace.
Later.